I'm Sean. So we always mess up. He's slurping beer.
I'm slurping beer.
Yeah. So it's been a while, hasn't it, since we've done one of these, as I said last video as well. It seems to be a running theme here.
Well, this is it. We do these as and when we can. This is why we don't do Patreon or adverts, because we know we can't.
Not yet, anyway. Well, that'll be about 10 years before we do Patreon. But the internet won't exist.
Fuck you, Google. If we get to a point where we can consistently do videos, then we'll consider doing it. But it's kind of
it's just it's one of those ones where obviously our lives separate us for a while until we can until we
weep into my lace handkerchief, staring out the window, waiting for his return.
It's just actually right here. No, I'm joking.
That's the friend.
So I want to just thank our recent subscribers, because we've had quite a nice number. We've gone past 50 now. Yay! Hey! Yeah. So thank you very much for all those who recently subscribed and those who are still with us. Congratulations.
Hopefully they haven't seen the video about what we're doing when we get to 100 subscribers, but we won't mention that here.
No, you have to like look through the archives for that one.
This week we're sponsored by Foster's.
Foster's, not Carling.
Not Carling this week.
Yeah, amazingly enough.
A few people who've been watching the videos have come up to me and said, you drink a lot of Carling, and you drink a lot of Carling, you're sponsored by
It's
them.
cheap.
It's cheap.
But then so's Foster's. So I thought we change it up a bit, colour schemes and all that.
Wine black to blue and gold.
Blue and gold, yeah, exactly. And then just before this, we had one of these. So we're mixing it up. And then until we go and talk about Doctor Who, we're not mixing it up anymore.
Oh no!
Right. So this, as you can tell by the title, is our top 10 worst Doctor Who episodes from the new series.
Yeah.
Well, my list is all pre-Jodie. Now the reason for that is because I couldn't get past Rosa. After that, it was just I don't like the way this season's going. That's a whole nother video in itself. But suffice to say, I don't think it would have been fair for me to have included episodes from season 11 in a top 10 worst Doctor Who story top 2 video that if I haven't watched the whole season. So mine are all pre-Jodie. His, on the other hand, I don't know. Again, like our top 10 best.
Mine's the same. It's pre-Jodie because it's not fair on her, because it's
immediate dislike from all our subscribers. Why not?
Look, if you want us to do a top 10 list of the worst episodes, fine. Just look at series 11 and just take it, put it whichever order you like.
It was funny when I actually put on our Twitter page. I was like, right, I'll finally compose my list for the top 10 worst Jodie episodes, and a few people, not Jodie, for top 10 worst Doctor Who episodes, and a few
10 worst Jodie episodes.
Well, well, they're already there, aren't they?
I know there's 11, so which one do you drop?
Which do you drop? Yeah, include one as an honourable mention. And then that one goes in it.
We do 11 because we want to go that one step further.
Yeah, exactly.
Fucking nostalgia.
What was my other reason? Can't remember. Oh, well, that would be the reason then.
Yeah.
Because I haven't watched all of series 11, and I don't think I will go back to it, because I like my blood pressure the way it is, and these episodes piss me off anyway. So I think there's a lot to say about them.
But that's not the purview of what we're going to do.
No,
because
exactly.
It's kind of everything's been said. We don't need to say it again.
Yeah.
And if you want, we can basically do just like a hate thing of that. If you want, if it comes up in the comments, we'll do it.
It's easy to do that at this point.
Yeah.
Because
But then it'd just be a case of like we're just repeating fucking sucks. It's fucking shit.
Yeah.
Fucking
it would be a bit like the same sort of things would be said every episode. Jodie sucks and the writing does.
Yeah.
Of what I've seen of her so far, obviously. You've obviously watched it all, so you can
probably
back my statement up.
I watched the whole thing, so I could technically include stuff from Jodie if I wanted to, but by the same token, I think...
Who wants that?
It's kind of like...
We still want this video to be fun, Jack,
it's more fun to not do it. You give yourself that little restriction. It kind of actually makes you think more, and it's kind of fun. These are obviously our own personal preferences for our own reasons. It's kind of... if you disagree... Please say
that's fine. Yeah,
it'd be interesting to see what.
It'd be interesting to have a bit of a conversation about it with you guys as well.
Yeah, because it's fun. This is why we're doing this, because it's fun to talk about this shit.
And also, that was my other reason. I've just thought. I've just remembered my other reason now. Again, the reason why these are pre-Jodie as well is because I've come to realise that Doctor Who was fun when we were talking about episodes that were just not great because they weren't great, rather than the whole you just don't like it because of this reason and that reason for the season 11. So I like this is almost like going back to when Doctor Who fandom was actually quite a nice place to be in.
Yes.
So, and where it also proves that there are criticisms to be had in all the other Doctors and all the other seasons before Jodie's.
Everything has flaws.
And this is proof of that. Do you want to do what we did last time? Flip a coin, see who goes first.
Well, I'm happy to go first again.
All right then.
Oh, first last time.
Yeah. No. Yeah, if you want to, I'm not joking. No, if you want to go first, go first.
Well, I don't really mind. It's kind of like I've got my list there.
It kind of had a good flow to it last time.
Yeah. Listen, we'll just do it like that last time. We'll just do it alternately.
So we're going from 10 to number 1.
From 10 to number 1.
Ascending order. Right, Jack. Okay. Number 10.
Right. Planet of the Dead.
Okay.
This is the David Tennant Easter special, the one and only time they ever did an Easter special, to my knowledge.
Yeah.
And this episode for me, it
was boring.
That's it.
That's the one for me. It was boring.
That is the biggest crime you can commit in any sort of entertainment media. It doesn't matter if it's like drama, action, sci-fi, romance, whatever it is you're watching. Even if you're watching like something like Britain's Got Talent, like reality TV, the biggest crime anything can do when it's entertainment is to be boring.
Yeah.
Because
I can't disagree with that.
Because even if it's bad, you can usually get mileage out of just watching it and laughing at how bad it is.
Yeah.
The wife and I had a few people over. Something like 6 months ago, and we were watching Jurassic World 2. And we would just wet ourselves laughing.
Fallen Kingdom.
Yeah. We wet ourselves laughing the whole way through. We were loving it. It was. Yeah. It's one of those movies that's so bad it's good.
Yeah, no, and it could quite possibly come up on a cheap plug for another series on our classic Crapfest series.
But this is it, and it's kind of like nothing in the episode is intrinsically bad. Nothing offends or upsets me. It's just boring.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't. Actually, I say a lie. I was actually considering this as one of the episodes, but it doesn't. Again, a caveat for my list is that aren't necessarily like objectively bad. They're just ones that I find infuriating or just stupid.
Yeah.
And with Planet of the Dead, there's not really either of that for me to warrant it in my list. But I can understand where you're coming from, because it's just like they're on a bus.
Yeah. They're on a bus. They end up on a desert planet.
And you've got I can't even remember what the creatures are called, but it's
so boring. They are the borings.
The borings, yeah, the borings, the blue boringers.
Boringers.
I mean, I quite liked Lady. What's her name? This is how much research has gone into this. Michelle Ryan's character.
Yeah.
I thought there was potential there for her to possibly be a companion, and maybe that's what they were hinting at. But yeah, it was just like, oh look, this is Doctor Who's version of Catwoman.
Yeah.
Again,
I was. This thing is like, again, she wasn't bad. She wasn't offensive. She wasn't anything that would upset me at all.
No.
I like some of the stuff Michelle Ryan has done. Admittedly, she hasn't done a lot. She's been like EastEnders, that failed Bionic Woman thing.
Oh yeah.
And this, I'm sure she's probably done other stuff.
You don't really hear much about her these days, do you?
So it's kind of, I don't know what's going on there.
No.
But even so, it's just kind of like, as a one and done character, it's like, you're interesting, but you're not interesting enough.
No. I think of all the specials, it was definitely the most boring.
It was definitely the most boring.
I mean, was that the one where it introduced the "he will not 4 times" thing, and I was like, all right, okay. But that was it. That was the only really sort of interesting episode. Lee Evans was all right, I guess. Lee Evans was fine. He was fine.
He wasn't bad. He wasn't offensive. It was like, but he wasn't brilliant either. He was not a standout. It's like, oh, I created Bernard, didn't I? It's like, and it's like, okay, I like what you're doing with this. This is an idea. And if he had been in like 2 or 3 episodes beforehand, like maybe when they did the Sontaran Stratagem and Poison Sky or something, maybe if he was like a scientist in the background, coming up with some stuff. There's a bit more
continuity in his character.
If they had used like some unit people like that, and it's like, okay, some recurring characters here for the special. Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Instead of having like Lady, what's her name, or Michelle Ryan's, whatever her character was called.
yeah, that's how memorable that episode is.
Yeah, it's kind of if let's say, I don't know, let's say they had Martha Jones come back.
Yeah.
And you can come up with a reason for why. It doesn't matter. It doesn't even have to be Martha Jones. You can have anyone come back, just like a random person who's met the Doctor before. It's like Sally Sparrow. Have her come back.
Yeah.
It's just
everyone was clamouring for her to come back as a companion for so long, and then she got into Hollywood, and that was the end of that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
it's like, you know what? It's like if you had her come back, reprising her role as Sally Sparrow, just as like as a one-off thing for that episode. It's like, okay, it's a nice little bit of continuity.
Yeah.
It's a bit of fun, and it's for a special. It's supposed to be for Easter. You could do something a bit more silly and fun with it. It doesn't have to be like the greatest thing ever.
Yeah.
But you know, it's kind of we know when they do the specials, they kind of throw the normal rules out the window a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's kind of, well, like I said, it was just boring. It's kind of...
Yeah, it was dull. It was dull.
I rewatched it in preparation for this, but admittedly that was like 2 or 3 months ago. And it was just like...
Doesn't matter, you could have watched it yesterday in preparation and it still would have had the same effect.
It's kind of... I'm not going to do a beat by beat plot breakdown because it's kind of... They're on a bus. The bus is on a desert planet. They meet green.
Yeah, no, what happens is he's got the crystal thing. Like the gadget on the bus, and he's like, oh, it's going.
Somehow they turn into a hover bus by sticking four things on wheels.
Dimensional interference or something, from what I remember from that episode.
Yeah. But even then, it's just like, you're boring. That's it. And it's like, you know, so yeah, that's why it's number 10, because there are other episodes that are objectively worse that are on my list.
Oh yeah.
But I get mileage out of them because I'm either sitting there watching them like yourself or Harry or something, we're taking the piss out of it.
Yeah, there's more to say about them because of how outrageous they are, whereas there was not a lot really to say about that episode.
Yeah, or there's something, or there's at least one moment in it that has a redeemable point for me.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, okay, you're boring, but you had that one great moment.
Yeah.
Or these 2 great moments where it's kind of like those high points knock them off, they keeps them out of the list and puts this in. Yeah, so that's where I am with that, number 10.
Yeah, so fair choice.
Okay.
No, my number 10 is, and this is probably the closest that Doctor Who has gotten to a musical episode, which is why it annoyed me so much. Well, one of the reasons why it annoyed me so much, and that is The Rings of Akaten. Now, this episode is just, I just don't, right, okay, so the episode starts off with, it goes back to, because this is in the middle of the whole Impossible Girl mystery.
Yeah, it's the starting of the Impossible Girl thing.
Yeah,
kind of.
so you've got Clara's parents. It's a flashback to Clara's parents, and the dad nearly gets run over.
Except for a leaf.
Except for a leaf, right? Remember this leaf,
which is a different leaf from the leaf that they show in the episode where Clara's introduced. But whatever.
And it's like, okay. And flash forward to this is where they've got into a relationship after he's like, basically like she's almost run him over, but he's going, this is the most important leaf in human history because it would have led to me doing like this, and then this led me to doing this, and it's like, oh, okay, you're being a bit sentimental, fine, but it comes into it later, and it's bollocks. Then we go back to Clara sitting with stories that she's read, 101 most important stories. Okay, so there's still a mystery here, and then obviously then it goes back to her just sitting there waiting for the Doctor. And then the Doctor turns up, and she goes obviously into the TARDIS, Clara, and then he's like, look, where do you want to go? Anywhere in time and space, etc. And just the way she goes, it can go in space, it can go in time. And it's like, oh, come on, we've heard all this shit before. Yeah. Let's just move on. Let's just get on with it. And the fact that this is in a season where he's already had companions come and go, and now this is like, in the same season, they're still they're harping on about, where do we go then? And it's so cheesy the way it zooms in on her face, and she goes, no, take me to someplace awesome. And it's like, that's just a personal annoyance for me for Clara. It just feels like a really bad rip-off of like the Star Wars cantina when they get to the planet. Yeah. And it's like, they don't take currency, they take something of personal value, etc. And then he starts barking at another barking thing. It's like, and it's like, what is going on here? This is written by the same guy, by the way, who wrote Luther. And I'm like, Neil Cross, and I'm like, how is this the same guy? It's just, this isn't even the worst bit of the story.
He's in the middle of writing Luther, that's why he's phoning this one in.
It was just completely phoned in. So then we find out that Clara sees this girl, and she's running away.
Little girl, yeah.
Yeah, and she's like, I'm the...
Mary Gillel,
the keeper of the stories, and so on. I know everything, literally, but I'm scared because I've got to tell this new story in front of Grandpa. And Clara was like, don't be scared, I was scared when I got lost in Blackpool, and I'm like, well,
Why is this relevant?
Why would she know where Blackpool is? She's a fucking alien. She's not going to know where that is. Doesn't care. And then there's just the singing starts, and it's just like it just doesn't make any sense, because when you get to the point where the doctors, and okay, you know, people go on about, oh, this is like the most amazing speech, like Matt Smith does it, and he does it's a decent speech.
He's very impassioned.
He's very impassioned, and that's fine. But the fact that his memories and his like
it should have worked.
It should have worked for him, right? And he goes, "Come and take it all, baby." And I was like, "Oh, that was a bit." And it takes Clara's fucking leaf because it's to do with all of the futures that could have been in human history, and that's like, you know, it's full up from all this, and that's why it was important. It's like, what? So you're telling me that this is the most important leaf in human history because it belonged to her parents?
Yeah.
But
the thing is,
why?
if they're going to go down the route of, okay, well, it's infinity. Well, you know, the Doctor's looking at time, is saying, I have seen all of time and space. And it's like, okay, that includes every single possibility. So that basically supersedes the leaf, because it's exactly the same thing.
Not only of human history, but of every other fucking civilization that he's encountered before.
And then on top of that, if one small girl has learned all the stories, and that has kept this giant planet parasite thing asleep or dormant for however long, why is it that all of time and space, which is infinitely greater than one small child who knows a lot of stories, isn't good enough?
No, exactly. It's just not. It has to be because, she's the impossible girl, so that's why.
Yeah.
Thinking about it, right? So they're in orbit around this thing, whatever it is, planet, star. It looked like a star, but maybe it was masquerade as a planet.
Ego, the living planet.
Yeah, but there's this civilization. They're still in orbit around it, right? And then it disappears, and nothing happens.
Yeah, you would have thought that it's like that would be lots of.
Surely, you know, for their entire history, this thing has essentially been keeping them.
Yeah, it's been
alive.
Yeah, because it's a sun.
Yeah, and then it turns out later on, obviously, because she gives her ring to get on one of those motorbikes.
Yeah.
Her mum's ring, because it was of sentimental value, and then the doctor goes, "Oh, they give it back to you because they want to thank you for helping them." But how are they still there? Because they're fucking. Yeah. They shouldn't be in orbit.
There's nothing to orbit.
There's nothing to orbit anymore, so they should literally have been like, you know, lost in space.
Yeah, it should start floating away.
And
literally, the Doctor and Clara would have still been on that, because it's kind of like they would have started going away, but they've been on it floating away. So
yeah, but it's given it's got a light like a star, so therefore it's giving them light and warmth. And
it's frozen over very quick.
So for me that's really just enough for me to be like, this was just rubbish. Because okay, season 7 in fairness to me was quite weak, in my opinion. It was probably his weakest season. And when I was going through my list, I was like, right, I want to try and be fair and try and pick an episode from each Doctor. I don't think there were enough things, enough problems, and enough irritations in that episode for me why it's number 10. So that was my number 10. The Rings of Back 10.
Yeah. Rings Back 10, number 10.
Number 10, yeah. There we go.
The thing is, that episode didn't bother me that much. It's kind of like, the only side of it really that bothered me immensely was it's kind of like, the Doctors are basically allowing the thing to eat all of his history should have killed the thing, and that should have been how it
should have been, that was my biggest bugbear, that this fucking leaf from her parents.
Yeah, that's
because she's the impossible girl. She's been around for like, you know, he doesn't know what. Yeah. He doesn't really know who she is yet. And there's a billion possibilities of things that never were.
Yeah.
But no, the fact that you are a Time Lord should have really been enough for that, rather than something that isn't. No, never mind. That's just the bugbear for me.
Moving on to number 9. Yeah. In a fitting way, moving on from your number 10 in terms of going to Doctor number 10. David Tennant again.
Nice segue.
Sorry, David. I love you, really. You're great in everything.
Well, the funny thing is, I worked out on my list that there's at least 2 from each, apart from maybe 1. But anyway, carry on.
Okay. So this one is New Earth, first episode of series 2. Now this one, there's something, again, this one is again, it's another boring one, but there's something extra about it that I just find.
Rose and the Doctor, for me,
Yeah,
they're just their sickening behaviour.
Yeah.
Like the fact that well, people go here, well, maybe go there, you're bad, maybe is it a date, isn't it a date? Oh, shut up. Anyway, sorry, this is your number 9, not mine.
That's fine, right? It's good. It's like there's loads of little things. It's like, okay, look, oh yeah, we've got cat nun priest, which okay, I like the idea. It's like, but they've got like a whole, they're breeding sick people so they can develop cures.
Yeah, so they're trying to cure every disease by making people sick.
Yeah. And so how, when all the sick people come out and start passing on disease like zombies, but just by touch or whatever, it's kind of, the way they cure everything is that the Doctor basically just covers himself in shitloads of antibiotics and lets them touch him. It's like, no, they've got every disease, unless you've got every antibiotic and enough of it to kill that. And then if that would stop the first one, how are they going to pass it on? It doesn't work that way.
No.
It's things like that.
At the time, this was Russell T Davies in full-on Russell T Davies mode in terms of just stupidity.
I don't hate it, but it's just.
It's not a great start to a season.
No, it's like you look at some of the first episodes. It's like Rose, right? That's a pretty good first start. You're introducing Doctor Who again.
Yeah.
You know, what's it? Smith and Jones introducing Martha.
Yeah, that wasn't bad.
And that was even if it wasn't introducing Martha, just as a first episode to a series, it's great.
Or introducing the classic villains as the classic villains that Jadoon who are returning for season 12. Yeah, very classic villains. A, they're not classic, and B, they're not villains. So Chibnall, fuck you.
Actually, interesting point I'll make on that in a second. So I was watching. Harry was here yesterday.
Yeah.
We were watching. What was it? Frontier in Space. Classic John Byrne
the Daleks, Frontier of Space. Yeah, that reminds me. That was the episode that I couldn't remember the beginning word of.
Yeah.
About one of the episodes we did. Anyway,
the thing is that they have mercenaries in that called the Ogrin. They look like Uruk-hai.
Yeah.
Basically.
Ogrins. Yeah.
But it's like, how about they came back instead of the Jadoon, because it would make a lot more sense and it would work just as well. And there's your classic villain.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of like, they're just like space Uruk-hai. There is good stuff you can do in first episodes to keep it relatively high energy, relatively fun and exciting. It doesn't have to be like, okay, when they did the Impossible Astronaut and everything for Matt Smith in Series 6, it's kind of like, okay, that was quite a deep, fairly thriller-style story.
Yeah, and I mean, well,
and that worked really well.
It drew you in immediately because it was like, what the hell are these weird aliens that basically you can't remember seeing? And the Doctor gets killed?
Yeah.
What? I mean, that's a way of like, engaging your audience from the beginning.
I think the only thing I actually remember about New Earth, without having rewatched it, is other than cat nuns, is the face of Bo. And that's it.
Yeah.
And it's like, if I can't remember it.
And Cassandra.
Yeah, it's like,
and then she comes back and then possesses the Doctor. It's like, I'm beating out a Samba. Oh my god.
It's just the whole thing is just ridiculous.
Yeah. But the only bit I do actually, speaking of Cassandra, the only bit of that episode that I thought, it finally got poignant was where right at the very end where she.
They did her death thing.
And he's gone back.
A chip.
Got back to the past.
Human.
Yeah, exactly. So and it was kind of now I can die and be happy and stuff. So I mean that was a nice touch. But everything up until that point was shit.
It was
in my opinion.
Boring, but there's enough there to start aggravating me with nothing really redeemable.
Yeah.
So again, it's kind of like I said, there's worse episodes out there, but they've got something redeemable for me, which means I can watch them. But this one. I skip. I skip my bother.
Yeah. No, I don't blame you.
Yeah. Right, so that's my number 9.
Right. Hang on, let me just make sure this is right. I've actually got notes on this one because this one is particularly bad. Although not quite as high up as some of you may have thought it was, but this is Love and Monsters. Now, Love and Monsters is universally disliked.
Yes.
Well, mainly universally disliked, but it's not as it's number 9 because there are episodes in this list that piss me off more. No. But this is one of those episodes where it is just objectively a bad episode.
Yeah.
Don't get used to these notes because this is just Like there's like 2 episodes of which I've done notes for. The rest is just like pure anger and hatred of what I was festered in me.
Don't expect professionalism. This is just what we do.
This is exactly. I mean, there's not a lot that hasn't already been said about how bad this episode is. So at the beginning, right? So the Doctor and Rose and an alien are running to and fro at the beginning. Random alien, don't know what it is. Just. Yeah. But it's the fact they're going from one corner and it's chasing them.
It's
and
like,
then
it did a Scooby-Doo thing.
Yeah, it's
different
just like
doors randomly.
It's just like, okay, maybe this is the point. It's supposed to be stupid, but it's still stupid, and it's just irritating.
Just to let you know, though, alien's called a hoix, I think. H-O-I-X, if I'm remembering.
A hoix? Is that what it's called?
If I'm remembering correctly.
What? Yeah. What? Like hoax? Like this is fake and terrible.
Yeah, but I'm fairly sure it's called.
It's a hoix. Yeah.
It's something like that. I'm sure enough that I'm going to point you out on it on camera, but if
good, do because
I'm sure enough that that's what it is. But if it's
comment
not,
section as well.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct me. Tell me I'm right, and then tell me that I'm wrong.
With it, but obviously we know that from hindsight and from leading up to this episode that this is a Doctor Light episode.
Yeah.
A Doctor Light story, and it's probably the worst Doctor Light story there is.
Yeah.
And thankfully they improved it in season 3.
Yeah.
Blink. So we've got Elton, right, part of the Linda, okay. And,
oh God, Linda.
And the first thing one of the first thing he says is, oh yeah, not Elton John, and it's like, yes, we know you're not Elton John.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
There are plenty of people out there called Elton.
Yeah, no one's going to mistake you for Elton John, mate.
No, you don't. It's just like, but yeah, play on the name there, Russell. Yeah, right.
My missus loves Vicar of Dibley, and they do.
It's a good show.
Yeah, and they do an Elton John joke. That's basically the same thing that they were trying to do there, but better.
Yeah.
With Reginald Dwight, because that's his original name.
Yeah.
Before he had his stage name of Elton John.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, oh yeah, my cousin Reginald Dwight can play at the church fair or whatever, and they're like, Reginald Dwight? You mean Elton John? Really? I don't know, just Reginald. And then when obviously the person says up, it's obviously like Elton John.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a bloke called Reginald Dwight, and it's like, which is the same bloody joke.
Yeah.
And it's kind of, but it's done better.
Yeah.
And it's like, you could make these sort of thing work, but it's just like, oh, my name's Elton, but not Elton John.
No,
Cringe. Cringe. I can feel my chest.
So I mean, in that sense, it's too self-referential. It's just like, oh look, we're making this joke. How funny are we? Not really.
Yeah, we're the best.
There's like a scene in it where they mention Torchwood Files and Bad Wolf Virus, right? So that's 2 arcs in 1 sentence. Leave it out, RTD. I mean, come on. All right, we understand that. You're making up these arcs, and it's oh, aren't you clever? But to mention both of them in the same sentence is just a bit overkill.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, we get it. Just move on. I almost forgot about this one. So obviously Elton's like bumped into Jackie Tyler, and Jackie Tyler's quite,
she's
quite
who she
flirty,
is.
And maybe they will, maybe they won't. And then they go, that's I can't, if it's either him or someone else. No, I think it is him. He goes, that's a hell of a chest. And I'm thinking, he's not wrong. Don't get me wrong. from a purely pervy perspective,
Purely pervy perspective.
But this is supposed to be a family show, right? And this is just the tip of the iceberg.
Oh yes. Oh God, yes.
I'm talking about.
Oh God.
But it's like, all right, 5-year-old sitting around watching this is going to be like, what? Turns around to imagine my daughter turn around to me and go, what do they mean by that, Daddy? It means
well, darling, they refer to breasts.
Yeah, breasts which one day you will have, and I don't really want to think about that right now. Okay, so Peter Kay comes in, and I actually prefer Peter Kay as his human form.
Yeah, Peter Kay's great.
Yeah, and he's like, okay, he's taking it somewhat seriously, but the design later is just fucking odd. Yeah. Anyway,
Peter Kay's he's putting in the effort.
He's putting in the effort.
He's putting in the effort.
It's the guest appearance, whatever. But one thing that puzzled me, right, is that as he's starting to absorb these people, so the rest of the group are leaving the building, and as they're still outside, the last person that keeps getting absorbed, you can clearly hear a massive blood-curdling scream. Yeah. But apparently they don't. Yeah. They just walk off, and it happens several times, and it's like, how have you not heard this fucking screaming? Yeah. Unless and they say, "Oh mate, it's just for our ear, like the audience's ears." But no, fuck off, because they're right outside the building.
Yeah, it's kind of,
it can be heard from the building. Yeah. And they just walk on.
We don't have that. We have we as the audience get a third-person omniscient perspective of a lot of things.
Yeah.
Because that's how TV works. But by the same token, if you've got something in the same shot, it's kind of
surely
like
they
should be able to hear it as well.
Yeah, it's not like they're in a basement. There is clearly an audible scream that can be heard, and they don't do it. Also, the name Absorbaloff. Why is that the one they stick with?
Well,
because they have all these other names.
I think they. I don't know. I know because from what I remember, it's just like a monster.
It was named by a Blue Peter winner. Or
yeah, because as a little kid basically designed it and got to name it or something. And I think that's where it came from. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, well, I think the design was. So fair play, a kid designed it, right? I'm not going to have a go at the design.
We're not going to have a go at the kid or the design of the monster.
No, even though he's crap. But you know, that kid's probably our age now, so fuck
it. He won a competition. It's like, you know what? This is your reward. You were like 5 or 6 at the time. I don't remember how old, but he's obviously a younger kid. It's like, you know, no judgment.
But the pièce de résistance of this story.
Oh god.
And I don't even need to really go into it that much. But all I need to say is concrete fucking slab.
Yeah.
We've even got a bit of a love life.
How? How do you have a love life with a concrete slab with a face on it?
Well, you obviously know the way. There's only one way that you
Sloppy
can still
beach,
have that.
I get that.
Yeah.
But the thing is though, right? The face is like you know, sticks out like that far, and the concrete's there. Unless you've got a tiny little dick, nothing's gonna happen.
Well, maybe that's so. I'd rather have a wank, thank you very much.
Yeah, I'd rather have a wank.
You know, take what you can get, but that's a bit much.
Yeah, it's like, you know, look, Elton's a bit of a lonely weirdo, but by the same token, I'm sure
he obviously got him worked up to the point where he was like, oh, give me some of that concrete.
Well, it's like, he can do better than a concrete slab.
I know, but you know, they have a love life. Oh, isn't that sweet?
Yeah, but you can't. It's like you can't take her anywhere. You can't do anything with her except put
her into the
sloppy concrete beach.
Put her in the concrete. You know, put her into like the corner of your room, and then just bring her out every now and then when you fancy knocking one out.
Yeah.
Like, you just do it into stone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like, you know.
Concrete fucking slab.
Concrete
anyway,
slab.
that's my number 9. Number 8.
Number 8. Right. Return of Dr. Mysterio. Now, this one, Capaldi Christmas episode, the second Christmas episode they had.
It was between.
Because they didn't have, because it was.
It was between season 9 and 10.
Yeah, because they did.
There was a year gap, wasn't it?
There was a year gap, but they did a Christmas thing,
and then they did Returns of Mysterio. And then, yeah, exactly.
Now, this episode, the reason it's on my list, and the reason it's beyond the other 2 episodes, New Earth and Planet of the Dead, is because it does something universe breaking. And basically so universe breaking that it's kind of you can't get around it anymore. It's just they basically introduced Superman into the Doctor Who world. It's just like intrinsically nothing in the episode is wrong. I'm not except for this, but it's so universe breaking to me that I can't get past it. And it's like you now have almost exactly their version of Superman, not Doctor Mysterio, whatever he's called, the Mask or whatever the fuck.
Oh yeah, because Doctor Mysterio is the Doctor, isn't he?
Yeah. But he's like, this guy's basically Superman. So, okay, so what's going to happen the next time Daleks try to invade Earth? Well, this guy should be showing up.
Yeah. And
the thing is, he's like, okay, we can make allowances for the fact that, you know, he hasn't done anything in between being a kid and becoming the superhero. The kid's in his 30s when he starts being a superhero or whatever.
Yeah.
But you can make allowances for the fact that between the time he gets the powers and gets to this point, okay, he's obviously been superheroing, but it's kind of, you know, it could have happened after the last attack on Earth or whatever that you saw, that we actually see in any of the episodes. It doesn't matter when.
Yeah.
So I can go with that. That's fine. But anything happens afterwards now, he should be involved in it somehow because he's got fucking superpowers.
Yeah. You
know, you're talking about like, oh look, you got pyramids at the end of the world, and the zombie monk things. It's like, okay, where's fucking Superman?
Yeah, exactly. Why isn't he getting involved?
Why is he getting involved in this?
Yeah.
You know, it's like, you know, the doctor's getting.
Oh well, no. The only thing I can think of with that is that it's a virtual thing.
Yeah. So.
But yeah, anyway, Karen.
See, anything that's set on Earth, he should be involved in now because he's got fucking superpowers.
Yeah.
He can solve all these problems.
It was a bit like my problem with the silence. That idea. It's like, well, technically, at any time there's a story set before the lunar landing means the silence are there somewhere.
Yeah.
But they just don't bother with that. Yeah, no, but it's just a good point.
But this is it. That's the thing that bothers me, because it's basically so universe breaking, and it's like, and then you could still legitimately make the argument that why is this kid not? He's been a superhero for how many years? Why has he not been involved in anything else? And it's like, I'm not gonna sit and try and extrapolate on it too long, because the acting's all right from everyone involved. The story's all right for what it is, and it's kind of like, it's nothing intrinsically horrible. It's more entertaining than the other 2 episodes, but that one thing.
Yeah, it's just like how a lot of Christmas episodes tend to be. It's just a bit of fluff, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like, if he got superpowers in that episode, as an adult, and then lost them at the end of that episode.
Well, this is it. This is what I thought that was leading up to. But the fact that they've left it sort of ambiguous.
Yeah, then it's kind of like, that'd be fine.
Yeah,
I'd be more than happy with that, because it's kind of like, oh look, you got your superpowers, but you lost them. Shrug, happens.
Yeah.
One-off episode.
Yeah, you were a hero for that moment.
Yeah.
And now the Doctor's back in charge. Sort of thing.
So you could even have it like set over, like, you could have him get like the powers at the beginning of the episode and have the episode take place over like 2 years or something. Yeah. The Doctor kind of popping in and out.
Yeah.
And then finish at the end of it, so he's got powers for a bit of time, like 2 years or whatever. But again, it's like,
The only thing I really liked about that episode was there was a Doctor's hoodie jacket. I don't know, that's a superficial thing, but I quite like that.
No, Peter Capaldi always looks amazing.
Yeah, and the little thing at the end about him being sad because obviously he lost someone that he was close to. You know, talk about. Well, that was River, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That he was referring to. It could have been Clara as well that Nardole was referring to, but that little speech at the end was like, oh right, okay, that's they're going back into the main story canon now, so that was alright. But yeah, again, I wouldn't. Yeah. I mean, it's not on my list, but I wouldn't put it in a top 10 best list either.
No. Like I said, the other 2 were just boring.
Yeah.
With New Earth having enough of an irritation, but nothing redeemable.
Yeah.
This, while having a few good moments in it, has that one detriment that is just so much.
Yeah, the continuity afterwards is what ruins it.
I love my continuity in things. One of the big things I loved about the MCU is the fact that everything kind of links in all together.
Yeah.
And it's kind of I'm probably not going to follow the MCU now. It's finished with Endgame, but
that's what it should be. It should be Endgame. Should be it. And carry on. But it's not. We said in our what's next for the Avengers is like it's just going to keep rolling. But anyway, I see what you mean.
But yeah, it's kind of like now it's just a case of. But no, it's like he's got superpowers. He's like, oh yeah, I'm hanging up the tights for good. But hang on, this is the whole Spider-Man thing. It's like, you've got superpowers. Mm-hmm. You should use them if the world is in danger. Okay, you don't have to go out there and stop the small stuff because you're trying to keep a low profile.
Yeah.
But fucking alien invasion with giant pyramids and shit.
Yeah.
Sort something out. You can sort that. The thing is, if the Doctor had him on like fucking speed dial on his phone, it's like, okay, got pyramid shit going on.
Yeah. Where are you?
Right,
it's like sort of a recurring thing, like Captain Jack.
Yeah. He popped up a couple of times. He doesn't have to pop up all the time.
Yeah.
There's a few situations that could have been solved by this guy with his superpowers, but
he could have reined him in for maybe an episode or two in season 10.
Yeah.
Series 10. So this episode is following on from episode 9 of my list. It's in the same season, which is season 2. And this might come as a surprise to people, but I'll give my reasons for it, and that is Doomsday. Let's just think about this for a second, right? So the Daleks and the Cybermen are arguably 2 of your most iconic villains.
I know why.
You know where I'm going with this, don't you? Right, so they're the most iconic villains in Doctor Who, other than the Master, okay?
Yeah.
And Army of Ghosts kind of alludes to this strange thing that's coming through the void, right?
Yeah.
And they're ghosts and stuff and whatever, and it turns out that they're Cybermen, and it's like, oh, okay, so it's kind of like a retcon back to when the Cybermen were first introduced, and they're your main villains, so they're going to introduce them again. But there's something else here.
Yeah.
We don't quite know what it is, but it's like a spherical object. What the hell's this guy? What's going on? And then the fucking Daleks turn up.
Yeah.
Right? And the first 10 minutes of this episode is genius, because it is some of the best interactions that you will find. But I'll give credit to Russell T Davies for the first 10 minutes of this story. Is the interaction between the Daleks and the Cybermen about, this is not war, this is pest control, and all that sort of stuff. That was great, and I'm thinking, oh, brilliant, this is going to be like like a cataclysmic battle between these two iconic villains of Doctor Who history. Yeah. And then after about 10 minutes, it just turns into a fucking sob story about the Doctor and Rose and all this shit about Void stuff.
They're your emotional centre for the episode.
Are they though? No. No. Alright. There's so many problems. Right, okay, so first of all, like this is like the culmination of the Torchwood arc, and they were like, you know, sort of building it up because they only got Torchwood, the spin-off series coming out, so, you know, this is Torchwood Institute, whatever, blah blah blah, they haven't hit the whole season. You have Tracy Oberman's character, Tracy Ann Oberman's character is like the leader of the Torchwood Institute, and she basically, her and Jackie get captured by Cybermen, and then she gets converted. I did my duty for Queen and Country. That's like quite an impactful, emotional exit for that kind of character. And then she turns up 10 minutes later as a Cyberman. And then, so she did her duty for Queen and Country, which overrides the fucking emotional inhibitor for her to turn around and kill Cybermen that are chasing her, or the Daleks, can't remember exactly, I think it was other Cybermen. And then you see a fucking tear coming out of the Cyberman's eyes as if it's hers. It's like, no, once you're converted, that's it. And this is going to be a recurring theme, spoiler alert, because I'm going to mention this again in another episode later on.
Oh, wonder which one that is.
Just things like that annoy me, right? And then the fact that the Cybermen, and okay, you could argue that this is because they're new Cybermen. Once the Daleks sort of come back, they are just pretty much wiped out almost instantaneously by the Daleks. Daleks are so OP against the Cybermen, and it's like, if you'd just introduced, and this is just the fault of the introduction of the Cybermen in the new series in the first place. This whole parallel world bollocks, I just didn't get on with it from the start. Because he even says it in that episode, he's like, oh yeah, no, there are Cybermen in our universe that have, you know, they've swarmed across the galaxy. Right, then why couldn't you just use them in the beginning, and then this would have been a much more engaging and fair fight, because the Cybermen have been around for generations. So that on its own was just really annoying. And then this highlights just the selfish nature of Rose Tyler, because once we get to the bit where, you know, covered in Void stuff, you know, right, I've got this is another fucking reset button by RT, well, the first of many reset buttons where it's like, I'll just have to relay the power and then I can close the breach by
it's not a full reset button because there are repercussions. It's kind of like there is like a list of dead from the Battle of Canary Wharf.
Which so is fine.
Kind of like, so it's not a complete reset button.
No, but it's very lackadaisical in the way it was executed. They just basically gloss over the Cybermen and the Daleks. Oh yeah, look, the Genesis Ark has got like Time Lord technology, Time Lord science there, because the Doctor wouldn't know about that because
he'd know what that is.
Yeah. They had secrets on both sides. Yeah, but the Doctor was at the front line. Yeah. So you'd think he would have known about this fucking thing. Yeah. Straight away.
He'd have known what it was.
It's a prison ship. Oh, so you only know that once it's opened.
Yeah, you'd have recognised it from the outside.
Oh yeah, but as soon as the Daleks come out, it's like, it's a prison ship for millions of Daleks. Even though you said that, even though the Daleks were completely obliterated, apparently, but clearly not at that point. Oh, and they're covered in Void stuff, which means they're going to get sucked in straight away. Yeah. This whole Void stuff thing as well. I've got Void stuff, so I'm going to go into the Void forever. Yeah. Alright. Well, you got Pete Tyler, the parallel Pete Tyler.
Parallel universe Pete Tyler.
And Jackie, and then they have this meeting, this sort of emotional meeting of like, you were dead, but Rose wasn't our daughter and all this, she's not mine, I'll just leave it. Leave this soap opera shit for soap operas, okay? It just doesn't belong. You had a good premise here and you fucking ruined it because you showed that the Rose and the Doctor's relationship was more important than fucking Daleks and Cybermen appearing together for the first time fucking how long?
Ever.
Yeah, essentially.
I'm pretty sure that's the first time they ever actually appeared in the same story together, isn't it?
I mean, I can't think of any off the top of my head that they have done in the past, like in the classic series.
So the big thing.
They may have appeared in Visions, but not against each other. But that's what I was saying about Rose and the selfishness. She would rather fucking leave her mum and her father, who she's, it's not really her father, but you spent a whole episode on Father's Day with her wanting to go back and see her father one last time before he died, kind of thing, and then she ended up fucking up. And now that you've got an opportunity to spend time with the parallel version. Okay, he's not technically your dad, but he is your dad. Yeah. But you'd rather leave the mum, the one who's brought you up, by yourself because your dad died. Oh, that's right. I've seen so many things, so many wonderful things, and I've got to see it all again. And I can't leave him. This man that you've only known a year, maybe. Yeah. And you'll quite happily leave your family in a parallel universe to carry on with this stranger that I suppose you think you know. You don't really know him that well. No. She goes back. I've got to go back to him. It just descends into just like fucking emotional folly. Yeah. After
Bad Wolf Bay.
Bad Wolf Bay. So she dragged her family to Norway on the whim of a voice that she heard because I've got to see him again one last time. Oh, and obviously the worst fucking bit about the whole thing was that I love you. And quite right too.
Well, yeah, because he was never going to say it. Cause he probably...
Well, no, no, but you find out later that he did say it in Journey's End. He was like, "What did you say to me?" And then he goes. And then they kiss. It's like, well, obviously he did say it because then that's what happened. But that's later on.
That's another episode for another time.
So there was so much potential in this episode, which started off well, and then they just showed that all that matters. And I suppose you can do these episodes with the Doctor and the Companion, and that they are important and they are a crux of the story. Yeah. But they spent this whole season with these two, and I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to say it. It was like one of the most annoying couples that you might know.
Yes.
In your life, and they're not even a couple, but they think they're a couple, and
they're acting like they're a couple.
They're acting like they're a couple, and it's like, why are we getting? Why does this have to happen? Why are we introducing romance? I suppose that's a big bugbear of mine as well. The Doctor doesn't get romantic with companions. It's just not done.
No.
And then they introduced it here, and it was like, oh god, it was just, I just don't like it. It was just a massive, massive disappointment, and a massive fuck you to the Cybermen and the Daleks, as far as I'm concerned.
My biggest complaint with that episode is the fact that the Daleks were in it, and it's kind of like
that's to do with the whole
that's the whole interrogation thing.
But I think they did it quite cleverly.
Oh yeah, if you're going to do it, this is the way to do it. But
the whole cult of Skaro and stuff, that was right. But because everything else.
The thing that was the biggest problem for me was it's kind of like, this is supposed to be the Cyberman's finale. You know, this is supposed to be their big moment. Yeah. You know, you gave the Daleks one for what's it?
Parting of the Ways. Season 1. Yeah.
You know, the Master got his in the next season. You know, it's kind of...
Well, the Daleks were still in that season. Yeah. But he had the finale, yeah, exactly.
It's kind of, this should have been their finale, right?
Yeah.
So if it was like, you know, oh yes, the Battle of Canary Wharf was like the armies of Earth versus the armies of Cybermen that just appeared randomly all over the globe.
Yeah.
And then, you know, okay, I'm not going to rewrite the whole thing, but let's just assume the Void Stuff thing is still a thing and it works, but it just pulls the Cybermen back in, because there's only Cybermen there.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, oh yeah, there's a whole list of the dead from like all over the world because they were fighting Cybermen for like the hour or 2 hours. That they were stomping around.
Right, and another thing, sorry to interrupt, but I remember another thing that I thought was bullshit. Suddenly the Cybermen then fight alongside the humans against the Daleks. Yeah. Even though 5 minutes ago they were like basically enslaving them.
Yeah.
And no, actually, because they've got bigger guns, we're going to fight alongside the... What? Why?
No. Enslave the humans, take their guns,
and use them against the Daleks. Yeah. Sorry, there's just so many annoying little things in that episode.
This is it. But yeah, it's kind of, I agree. It's not